or constraints that the court could declare certain actions beyond the constitutional powers of the convention. And I just have to say that when we did the book and we looked at Professor Tribe's materials, and even as I hear him express it today, both my heart and head are with him. And as I say, Paul was not convincing me beyond that at the time. But something is happening in our system that I think Professor Lessig has put his finger on, and that I tried to indicate at the end. I can't quite put my finger on it. You're putting your finger on money, particularly, and its impact on Congress. I would just add that, as I say at the end, with all of the other changes that we have had that make this jewel in the crown, our Constitution and the institutions that it created, that they may not be working properly. The system may not be working properly because the inputs are so different now. So I would just say that. And then I also wanted to ask Professor Tribe, I see your point about could we know that the Supreme Court would or wouldn't step in, and you suggested that they wouldn't. Who would have standing to bring a case. I used to think that before Bush v. Gore. I didn't think they would step in to Bush v. Gore. So I just wondered about your thoughts on that.
You really know how to hurt a guy. No, there are surprises everywhere. I want to respond primarily to what Nick said. I do agree that there's a difference between an Article 5 convention, which I read the Constitution that contemplates some creature that would be an Article 5 convention, and a totally new convention of the sort that I think Sandy Levinson, though he can speak for himself, advocates. It's just that I don't know the metes and bounds of those differences. Now, does that lead me to think we should never have another Article 5 convention? No, I agree very much with Nick. There's a first time for everything. And I do believe that there may be certain kinds of systemic breakdowns where a large majority of the people of the United States want something to happen. For example, and I take this just as an example, they want to limit the ability of amassed corporate wealth to dominate American politics. Now, I count myself as part of that group. I've helped people in Congress to introduce an amendment that would try specifically to overturn Citizens United. It was introduced by Donna Edwards just a few days ago. But it may be the case that the very things that make us want to change the influence of corporate money on politics will make it essentially inconceivable that Congress would propose that amendment to the